Saint Lucy's history has been lost, and all we really know for certain is that this brave woman who lived in Syracuse lost her life during the persecution of Christians in the early 4th century. Her veneration spread to Rome so that by the 6th century the whole church recognized her courage in defense of the faith. Because people wanted to shed light on Lucy's bravery, legends began to crop up. The one that has passed the test of time tells the story of a young Christian woman who vowed to live her life in service of Christ. Her mother tried to arrange a marriage for her with a pagan, and Lucy knew her mother could not be swayed by a young girl's vow, so she devised a plan to convince her mother that Christ was the better partner for life. After several prayers at the tomb of Saint Agatha, Lucy saw the saint in a dream. Saint Agatha told Lucy her mother's illness would be cured through faith, which Lucy used to persuade her mother to give the dowry money to the poor and allow her to commit her life to God. While Lucy and her mother were grateful to God, the rejected bridegroom was deeply angered and betrayed Lucy's faith to the governor Persecuted. The governor attempted to force her into defilement at a brothel, but the guards who came to take her away were unable to move her, even after hitching her to a team of oxen. The guards heaped bundles of wood around her, but it wouldn't burn, so they finally resorted to their swords, and Lucy met her death. Though details of her life remain unknown, it is widely known that during her lifetime Christians were persecuted for their faith. They were forced to endure horrific torture and often met painful ends during Diocletian's reign. Though the details surrounding her death remain only as legends, it is all modern-day Christians can rely on. Legend has it that Saint Lucy either plucked out her own eyes to avoid marriage to a pagan, or had her eyes put out by the Emperor Diocletian as part of her martyrdom. Eyes are also an attribute of Saint Ottilia of Alsace, a Dominican nun. Her blindness was miraculously cured during her baptism. Some stories recount Lucy's eyes being gouged out by part of her torture. Some claim that she herself plucked them out before she was even brought to trial, in order to ward off her suitor. Her eyes were restored to her, however, and she was even more beautiful than before. According to one of the legends, Lucia later removed her own eyes, which is known as autoenucleation, and sent them to her rejected suitor. He was deeply offended by her marriage refusal and therefore informed the authorities that she was a Christian. Lucy's legend did not end with her death. According to later accounts, Lucy warned Persecuted he would be punished. When the governor heard this, he ordered the guards to gouge out her eyes. However, in another telling, it was Lucy who removed her eyes in an attempt to discourage a persistent suitor who greatly admired them. When her body was being prepared for burial, they discovered her eyes had been restored. Sigebert, 1030–1112, a monk of Gembloux, wrote Sermo de Sancta Lucia, in which he described Lucy's body as remaining undisturbed in Sicily for 400 years until Farol II, Duke of Spoleto, seized the island and transferred Lucy's remains to Abruzzo, Italy. It was later removed by Emperor Otho I in 972 to Metz and left in the Church of St. Vincent. There is much confusion about what happened to her body after its stay at St. Vincent's, but it is believed that several pieces of her body can be found in Rome, Naples, Verona, Lisbon, Milan, Germany, France, and Sweden. In 1981, thieves stole all but her head, but police were able to recover them on her feast day. Lucy, whose name can mean light or lucid, is the patron saint of the blind. She is often seen with the emblem of eyes on a cup or plate. In paintings, she is often depicted with a golden plate holding her eyes and often holds a palm branch, which is a symbol of victory over evil. Saint Lucy was a young woman from a noble family who lived in Siracusa, Sicily. Sicily had been a very important Greek colony for hundreds of years. It was the home of Archimedes, the celebrated Greek mathematician and engineer. When Lucy was growing up, Siracusa was a Roman city. Lucy was a Christian at a time when being Christian meant that you could be persecuted for your faith. One day she went on a pilgrimage to visit the tomb of Saint Agatha, a very important holy woman in the Christian faith. Here, according to legend, Lucy had a special visitation from the saint, who promised to cure her mother of a life-threatening blood disorder. On her return home, Lucy saw that her mother had in fact been cured. As a thank you to Saint Agatha, she decided to dedicate her life to Christ by living a modest life of prayer and helping the poor of Siracusa. The sanctuary of Santa Lucia in Venice is not in its original location. When a church was built to house the relics of the saint in the Cannaregio district of Venice, a site was chosen overlooking the Grand Canal. The church may have been partly designed by the famous architect Andrea Palladio. Parts of the body are present in Sicily, in particular in Syracuse, which has preserved them from antiquity. If you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.